Welcome back to the Holiday Road. This morning we are in Capitol Reef National Park here in Utah.
So you can see we are back in sweatshirts. So this
morning.
This sweatshirt I bought about 1,000 miles ago. It's come in massive handy because it's gotten super cold again. But we're here at our fifth. This is our fifth national park of this trip, and we're excited to see what it has to offer. We're at our first little pull off of the park. Kind of get a nice little picture of where we are and what the scenery looks like. I will say we drove through this last night on the way to the hotel. And Capitol Reef has two very different types of scenery. You've got this, like the red rocks, and then I don't know how to describe the second part, but we'll get into it later. This park is a little different than some of the others we visited in that most of this national park is actually free. You can get to most of the park without paying a dime. If you do want to go on the scenic drive, you do have to pay a $20 admission, or it's included in your national park pass. This here is Chimney Rock, sculpted out of the corner of this. It's an easy little pull off. There's also a hike you can do here, but obviously the lighting's not great with some of the clouds in the sky, but pretty cool little formation there. Quite a view. I feel raindrops. So Capitol Reef is a much more isolated park than some of the others, especially the others in the Mighty Five. So you're going to deal with a lot of gravel roads like this. It's going to be a little bit more challenging to get back to where you need to be. But hey, that means less crowds. I don't know what we just drove back to, but it's a heck of a drive. So hopefully this Gooseneck's Point is worth it. Shortly off of the Gooseneck's trailhead is a spot called Panorama Point. We actually came up here last night to look at the stars, but we're taking a look here in the daytime to see what the views have to offer. Very short walk up from the parking lot, and we're almost there. Quick little roadside stop here. Another rock formation called the Castle. Right off the road, there's a nice little pull off to come see it, but pretty cool, just beautiful. So a couple miles into the park is the visitor center behind me. This is also the beginning of that scenic drive we talked about. So we're gonna go in, try to get Deanna a patch for her collection, and then head up the scenic drive. Babe, let's see your patch. Let's see the patch you picked out. So shortly after the visitor center, you enter the historic district of Fruita, which was a Latter-day Saints community based around the Fremont River. This area was very fertile for orchards, so they grew a lot of apple trees, and they provided for their families here in this area. But really cool, it's been preserved as a historic community. There's a couple little deer just around the way. It's really pretty. Here at the Gifford House in the historic community of Fruita, they sell fresh baked apple pies. Since this is known for growing over 30 types of apples, we couldn't not get one, and it's still warm too, so I'm really excited about this. They sell 25 to 30 dozen of these pies a day, apple being the most popular, but they do peach, strawberry, rhubarb, a little bit of everything. You want to take the first bite?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to finish this, but we'll throw it in the car. How is it?
Really good. It's really, really good.
Maybe it's the scenery, but that's the best apple pie I've ever had. We're not having any problem finishing this pie. Oh, so good. We just finished up the scenic drive. It's very, very cool scenery and a really fun little experience. We reached the end of the scenic drive, but that's not stopping us because there's an exciting gravel road past that. We don't know where it's going, but we're going to find out. There's like a civic going here from us, so if they can make it, surely.
One of my favorite things about national parks is when you can be like completely immersed in the national park and not just like all of these scenic overlooks, like you actually get to like be in it. And since I can't do as much hiking this trip, I am really loving Capitol Reef because you're like driving down through these canyons and it's just surreal. Like I can't think of another national park that we've done anything like that.
I'm telling you right now, Capitol Reef is the most underrated national park in the country. The road we just drove down, we never thought it was going to end. It was all gravel. So there's a scenic drive past the scenic drive, but this back here is amazing. We know we've said this a lot, but every national park provides something that's so unique that you can't find it anywhere else. And we're right here in the middle of this wash with these giant walls on either side. It's definitely meeting that expectation here. Left the scenic drive section of the park and we stopped to see some pterodactyls on the side, some Native American writings. We're really excited. There's a nice little walk over to these and it's shortly after the visitor center, so that's what we're doing next. So the people that lived in this valley were known as the Fremont people because we don't know what they actually called themselves. There's not a lot of signs of them. They found some of these markings throughout the years, but really, really cool stuff. They lived here permanently. They were not travelers. The national park has a little bit of information on them that we've been learning, but we're not really sure all the details of their lifestyle and culture. Also, know that I've been saying it wrong, and it's not pteroglyphs, it's petroglyphs, because I misread things at the beginning, but really cool. There's this nice constructed bridge here that kind of lines the path on our way to see more of the petroglyphs. There are all kinds of petroglyphs along this walk. Really cool when national parks blend nature and history and the history of this area, so it's very cool to see that. Probably the best known feature of this national park is the Hickman Natural Bridge. We are not going to that. It's a little bit longer of a hike than we have time for. Plus we just got on with Arches. We thought we saw something kind of similar, but we are going to the Grand Wash, which is the other really known hike or walk or section of the park right off the main drag. Pro tip for Capitol Reef, while this national park is amazing, it's also got the most bugs that we've experienced in the park. So bring some bug spray or wear long sleeves and long pants. One thing that's blowing our mind is all these little crevices in the rock have these little rocks in them. And it's really even the high spots. So it's obviously people didn't put it there. We just don't know how the little rocks got there. But super cool. Just kind of one thing that we observed. I'll show you a little close up easy. They're just full of rocks. So after surviving all those bug bites here in Capitol Reef National Park, we're about to head out of the park and we're gonna head into Escalante, Utah. I think I'm pronouncing that right. So we can check out a coffee shop that Deanna has been eyeing up for lunch. So we're on our way to Escalante for lunch, and we just left the desert where it was like 85 degrees, and now we've summited a mountain. It's 9,600 feet. There's snow all over the place, and it's crazy how quickly in like 45 minutes you can go from one climate to another, like the flip of a switch. So we just entered a grand staircase Escalante National Monument, which is about an hour from Capitol Reef. Yeah, there's a lot of amazing stuff to do here. We are not going to spend much time here beyond stopping at the coffee shop in the little town for lunch, because most of what's accessible here is pretty heavy hiking. So it looked to me like any of the cool stuff, you're talking a minimum of 3 to 4 miles. Again, we're trying to keep the hiking down a little bit since we got a baby on the way. And also just for time purposes, we're trying to get in Bryce Canyon this evening. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. From the looks of it online, you can probably spend a whole week just here. So we had to get out of the car for a minute just to look at, we're on like a bridge. It drops off on either side, the middle of the grand staircase here. Super cool. Feels like we're literally on top of the world. We have arrived at our lunch location, which is the Kiva Koffeehouse, which I actually found on TikTok. But check out this view. You're not going to find a better view for a coffee shop in America. How's the pastry?
It's very fluffy. So we just stopped at the Kiva coffee shop and I saw this place on TikTok probably 3 or 4 weeks ago and told Zach about it. I didn't save it anywhere, and then last night we were both frantically trying to find where it was, but we did find it, and it is the coolest little place we've ever been. They have some sandwiches, mostly breakfast foods, coffee. Definitely worth your stop.